what we are going to have is a direct conversation about what the Gospel of Thomas is all about and the message of evolution that runs through its sayings like blood running through veins. When you understand the underpinning message which is there, it will awaken the living spirit which is a part of you. And you'll get a sense of, this is the message that I have been waiting for. There's something very natural about it that will trigger some questioning. Those questions that you have need to be asked. They need to be asked of yourself. Wow. And they need to be asked of the world around you. How have you become the person that you are? How did you not know that you had a living spirit that you can unify with? There are some serious questions that need to be asked, and that is what we will do as we explore the sayings within Thomas. Let me briefly explain to you how I've got to where I am now. My life has been filled with unusual occurrences and direction changes in my life. There has been a guiding hand that has got me to this place. 2 years ago, which was 2023, I had reached a point that I could no longer continue with work because there was an anxiety, a disturbance. There was a feeling inside that I needed to discover something much deeper about myself. You can call that a calling. One evening, I sat at home and just asked, what is this about? And within moments, I was filled with the consciousness of Jesus. I know. Nobody is more surprised than me. I am not a Christian. I am not religious in any way. But I've had a spiritual life. This consciousness that came into me that needed no introduction. I knew instantly what and who it was. And I was moved around the room, and in that time and motion that happened, I realized that there was a purpose to this. This was no accident. I was not here accidentally. The things that had happened in my life were on purpose, and that this connection that I had to that consciousness was not a freak thing that happened. This was a planned occurrence, and that the spirit that I have is part of a wider consciousness that needs a platform to share the sayings and the message and the themes that are within the Gospel of Thomas. The sayings come from that consciousness and are conveyed now out into the world. This is not a unique thing which is happening to me. You only need to look online to see how many authors are writing about the Gospel of Thomas. In each one of their introductions, you will find that they are people that have had an experience or an occurrence or event that's happened to them that has led them to the Gospel of Thomas. Within that, there is this deep desire to share. And we will explore that as we go through. Needless to say, the last couple of years have been about me diving deep into the sayings. And fortunately for me, very early on, I came across Stephen Laurie's book called The Thomas Code. Stephen Laurie is an author and a researcher of historical texts, and he's also a mathematician. And he discovered that there is a mathematical code based on prime numbers hidden within the sayings of Thomas. With that revelation, a pattern emerges. Suddenly, they are not 114 sayings. They are 108 sayings. They are divided into groups of 18s, of 36s, with smaller groups of 3s and pairs. There are also chiastic links within the gospel that link sayings at the front to the back. Within 18s, within the whole of the gospel. When you see that, suddenly there is this avalanche of information that comes out. There is a depth which you cannot possibly see if you only look at the individual sayings as a random collection. There is a great deal of thought and craftsmanship in the way that the Gospel of Thomas has been put together. Why is what you're going to ask. Well, we'll get onto the authors of that later. Needless to say that when it was first put together, Gospel of Thomas was an instruction manual. It was a spiritual set of guidelines to take the person who has the potential to awaken from a curious state to a state of unity. Buddhists call that enlightenment. That is what the sayings in Thomas do. It is a user's guide. It is there as an induction. It is there to guide that person on the journey from the state that they are in when they begin to a state of unity. That state of unity where the physical person and the spiritual state of consciousness unite. What we see is sayings of Jesus are about a state of consciousness. There are no rituals that we are asked to follow. We're not asked to pray or give alms or take holy days or spiritual holidays or retreats. It's really important that every day is a day for us to connect with that consciousness. It is about us changing our perceptions finding out why we have the perceptions that we do, and altering our senses so that we can sense the living spirit within us. And I say that in a very, very normal and natural way, because that is how it is. It's not a sensational thing that I'm speaking about. It is something that those people with potential will simply give a sigh of relief and go, oh, this is what I've been looking for. This is what I've been waiting for. There are many paths that the spiritual traveler follows. Most of them don't take you where you want to go. This is the way that many of you have been looking for. So, in these next few talks, we'll look at those themes. But what I don't intend to do is go through each one of the sayings again. You have the book for that. You have the audio for that. We're going to evolve beyond the book and the audio. This is evolving the themes of Thomas so that they become practical, so that your life can evolve naturally around them.